What's up, everybody? This is Jason again with Campbell's Morrell Music Rig Rundown. This is episode 9, and today we have a very special guest on episode 9. Y'all may recognize him from bands such as Sundale, HAAL, Godsize, and a lot of metal bands in the past before that. And we may go into some of that later on, but those are the most recent that I can think of. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. We got Will Ford here, plays guitar in HAAL and lead singer of Godsize, and always has an impressive rig and great tone. And we've been looking forward to this one for a while because, like a lot of people else in Johnson City, HAAL is probably my favorite band in Johnson City.
Thank you.
And they all write some great tunes and are really tight and a joy to watch for sure. But yeah, we got Will Ford, so we welcome him today, and I guess we'll just start right into your rig, and with everybody else, I'll start with the guitar, and you could talk about your guitar, which is heavily modified.
Yeah. If you're in a band with Travis Kmeyer, Travis sings and plays guitar for HAAL. He's an amazing recording engineer, and he plays bass in GOV. He's just like, he's so just particular about tone, but like in the best way, and it's always the best. And so when we started HAAL, I don't know, 8-9 years ago probably, it was just kind of Travis and I talking about how we wanted to be in a band that sounded like the bands that we love, like Cave In and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Failure and stuff like that. And at the time, I was helping out with Travis at the studio, and we had just amassed this collection of amps and guitars and just like everything under the sun. We wanted it all, and basically we just kind of dwindled all that down to this. So like when we started, I think I played parts guitars in HAAL mostly. Mm-hmm. I played like a Warmoth Explorer that was put together by Jordy Wetzel. And then I played a Warmoth Jazzmaster that had some P90s in it for a while that he put together. And then I played like, had an old Bernie Les Paul copy, or had an old like 82 Silverburst Custom and an E2, like an 82 E2 Explorer, Parried Smiths, just everything we tried. And played that PRS for a while. But then one day I was just like talking to Travis, and I was just like, man, I miss playing a telecaster. I had some Nash tellies, but I needed something with a humbucker. So Travis, being the best guy in the world, came over here and bought a shiflet telly, like a used shiflet telly, and then just pimped it out without me knowing it and just gave it to me.
Yeah, I remember when he got that guitar, and if y'all don't know, that this is started off life as a Fender Chris Shiflett signature model, which is usually a 2 humbucker guitar. And this one,
I think it has humbuckers. I don't think it has the wide range.
It don't have the wide range, yeah. So yeah, but this one's been completely redone.
Yeah, literally the only thing left is the wood and the paint. The body is that we put a single pickup in it, and then completely took the tone control out because you don't need it. Mm-mm. Just and that Warmoth Explorer I had was just one pickup and a volume knob.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty bonehead when it comes to playing guitar, so that makes it easy. But so just a volume knob, and then we put a bare knuckle juggernaut in it, the Misha from Periphery pickup, and it's like half ceramic, half Alnico magnet. And I used to, because of Travis, I used to put bare knuckle aftermaths in everything, and they're really good too. And I think they're almost like 15K or whatever output, 15 ohm. And this one's a little less. It's like 13.3, and I think I like it more. It's we play in like a few different tunings, but they're all open.
Right.
So, and even like when it's full on heavy gain, like I'm still playing open chords, and you can hear everything with that. It's the best pickup I've ever heard.
Yeah, like seems like the hotter the whine of the pickup, the more muddy it gets.
Sure.
So with the less windings, you're hearing more articulate sounds.
It's got the perfect amount of low end too. You know, we have in HAAL, Bo Duggar plays bass. and he's an amazing bass player. And Kevin Lane plays drums. We have really, really good rhythm section, and I think a lot of tendency for guitar players just like get as much low end as you can, and it doesn't leave any room for them. But they're so good that I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But it has the perfect amount of low end, the perfect amount of like cut through everything, and I really don't use that much gain. But it's awesome.
Neck, where did the neck come from?
It's a Warmoth neck. It's roasted maple, just like I think it's like 60 Strat profile, like
gotcha.
So like a little thicker than a normal Strat, but it's got rosewood board and Dunlop 6100, like the real big frets, but they're stainless steel, so they'll never wear out.
Right.
And it's the best neck I've ever played in my entire life. And I mean, it's affordable.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody to just buy some parts. But we got Fender locking tuners that we got over here.
And for nothing else, locking tuners make string changes a breeze.
Oh yeah, it's my least favorite thing to do, and I'm so bad at it. But when I do it, I can change the strings on this thing in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a hip shot bridge.
Yeah, it looks.
So it's like it's really set in there, and it's got the
a little bit more mass than a
6 saddles, so not like an old brass saddle telly, and then string through, and yeah, it's just a piece of wood and some strings. And it's the best.
All those guitars you talk about, and you always come back just to play a Telecaster.
I would go to other stuff, and then I would just be like, I played mainly Gibsons. Like in Sundale, I just played Les Paul after Les Paul after Les Paul forever, and it hurt my back real bad.
Oh yeah.
And then I started playing Nash Tellys for a while, and I was just like, man, this is how it's supposed to be. You don't want to kill yourself playing guitar. So
yeah, for all y'all that think Telecaster is just a country guitar, we'll prove you wrong here in just a minute.
Well, it's the most like non-Telecaster, but it still has like, I think some spank to it.
Oh yeah,
a little, but then when it's like the perfect blend of like a Fender and a Gibson.
Yeah, for sure. And again, he mentioned people in his band. We got Bo Duggar next week. Is that right? Boo. But we're going to make fun of his pedalboard for sure. And so you're running straight out of the guitar there into your pedalboard, which is nicely like laid out and clean wired and all that good stuff.
It used to be a lot cleaner, but every time we'll like record or something, we just rip them apart and
try different things. Yeah,
and then when we come back to like we need to practice to play shows or whatever, it takes us all like 45 minutes to try to like figure it all out again. And actually, this used to be Bo's pedal board. I had a smaller pedal train in like a flight case, and I wanted a wah pedal really bad, so we just swapped.
Gotcha.
And so I have his now.
Are you going straight in the tuner or into your buffer first?
No, it goes into TC Bonafide buffer,
I got you.
which I got here. Then into a Polytune, which I got here, which I've had for, I don't know, 12 years. Same one.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I have really bad eyesight, and the boss is like, I can't
It's
see.
a little hard to read.
Yeah. I had a Korg pitch black tuner for like a second, because they have even bigger letters on them. But for whatever reason, mine was messed up. And when Hal first started, we recorded 2 like just demos to put out. I remember listening back, and I was like, why is my guitar sound out of tune? And for whatever reason, that Korg tuned everything like a quarter pitch sharp. So I was like, I'm going back to Polytune.
Yeah.
So I did that, yeah. And then from there, into this Friedman BEOD, which is just, I guess, his Friedman Brown Eye amp in a pedal.
In a pedal form.
That's another thing Travis and I were just so like picky about, were overdrives. When we first started, I used this like super boutique fuzz called a Sanford and Sonny Bluebeard, which is like a super mid-scooped big muff. But Hal does like a lot of palm muting, and you just kind of lose it in that. I used some German pedal called an Akko Dominator for 5 seconds. It sucked. And then Kurt Ballou from Converge mixes all the Hal stuff. and we were at his studio in Salem, Massachusetts one time, and I asked him about this band HAAL and Fire that records with him all the time. I asked him something about guitar tone, and he showed us this pedal that they used from Asheville, from Blackout Effectors, called the Blunderbuss Fuzz.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what it's called. But we used that. Travis and I both used that for a while because it has this focus knob on it. And when you turn it the right way, it doesn't sound like a fuzz anymore. It kind of sounds like a triple rectifier.
Yeah.
So we both used that. And then I had a Friedman amp when we started, the Jerry Cantrell signature, and it was good, not for how much I paid for it, but it basically sounded, when I think of distortion, I want a Marshall 800 preferably with a pedal through it.
Yeah.
And so it sounded like that a lot. But then he came out with his pedal, and Travis got it just to try it out, and he didn't really like it that much. And he was just going to sell it, and I was like, whoa. Like, let me try it. So we plugged it into this, and that was it. This is what I've been looking for forever. So I bought it off of Travis and threw it on there. And it's amazing. I can't think of another overdrive pedal that really is like the second channel of an amp.
Yeah.
Is what it sounds like, which is when we just run like a very clean amp, and then that for gain and stuff.
Yeah, and we're talking about clean amp. Y'all probably have seen this amp on one of our episodes before, because again, Will is in another band called Godsize with Wes Lick, who we had on here a few weeks ago, who plays this and that EVH in that band with you. And he kind of described it a little bit, but you probably know a little bit more history than he does, because we always say Wes is a good guitar player, but he don't know what gear he's running half the time.
So he's the best guitar player ever. And I'm lucky to be in a band with him.
Yeah, he's great.
Funny story about this. Travis used to be in a band a long time ago called called Heroes Text with Jake Moore, and Josh Childers from the Showdown was in that band. But Travis needed an amp, and Travis, if you don't know this, is a drummer by trade, and he's an amazing drummer because, of course, he's good at everything.
Everything he does.
But you need an amp, and the story I heard, and Travis might correct me on this, Bose told me this too, is they went to see a band at the Grey Eagle in like the early 2000s, and Travis just saw this amp like just sitting on the ground, and so he was just like, well, it's a tube amp, I need a tube amp, and he bought it for like $300. If you can find one for $300 now, tell me and I will buy it.
Yeah.
Because they went up so much in price. But it's 90s OR80 orange. Orange went through a bunch of owners, and in like the mid 90s they would like go out of business, and then somebody buy them and kind of revamp it, and then they go out of business again. But like the mid 90s, Gibson actually owned Orange, and they had Mad Amp make the amps for them. And so it's just a copy of an OR series from like the 70s. But I guess when Gibson had Mad Amp make the amps, they messed up the load screens in England. So when they shipped them over to the U.S., people were plugging them in and blowing the transformers. And there's a mod you could do, which is it has 2 power tubes in it, and you just add 2 more power tubes. So it's actually a OR120. So that's 4 power tubes.
Yeah.
And they're KT77s. They're not EL34s, which is weird, but
those big bottle tubes.
Yeah. It's not biased like super hot or anything. And then the way we run it, the Smashing Pumpkins in the 90s would use JCM 800s, and they would plug into the low input, and this has a low and a high input. The high input on these is good, I guess. Sounds like an Orange distortion channel. It's super muddy and dark. If you put an overdrive through it, like a tube screamer or something, it sounds pretty good. But what the Smashing Pumpkins figured out I think it's when they did Siamese Dream with Butch Vig, they plugged into the low input, dimed the master volume, and then used the gain as a master volume, essentially. Right. So it's just
pure clean.
Really loud and really, really clean. It's It's all, to me, it sounds like a Fender.
Kind of like a twin on steroids.
It does. It sounds like a twin on steroids. It's like a twin with some nuts to it. Like it has more low end than a twin does. But, yeah, like Travis's friend had it for a while, and I traded him, I don't remember, like a Dr. Z and some cash or something.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted it so bad. And from the get-go, I think I use this and he uses that old second gen Model T. But it's the best pedal amp I've ever heard in my entire life. Super loud, which sound guys hate, but
especially Alan Prince.
he does not. I don't think he likes it too much. But it rules. Yeah, I can't play anything else.
Well, let's hear your clean tone and just kind of see what that clean tone on this orange sounds like.
This is just nothing, just like straight.
Yeah, definitely a lot more low end than a twin. I'm sure the 412s help with that also.
Yeah, we changed all the speakers out too to make it even more clean, which people normally don't do. But this is like a 90s era cab too. And then the speakers are in, the way I have it set up is an X pattern, I think. So it's like two Eminent Swamp Things, which are 150 watts a piece. So you can just pump whatever through them and it doesn't ever break up.
Break them up.
And then two Eminence Texas Heats, which are like 80 watts, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think you're somewhere around there.
But yeah, and this cab's been through hell.
Yeah, we heard West. I don't know if West told the story, but he might not have told it right, so we'll let you tell it.
So I worked at a tattoo shop in Asheville, North Carolina, just like 2 days a week just to help them out. My friends all work there. And one of my friends that tattooed there was having like his 20-year anniversary of tattooing, and they were having 20-year anniversary as a shop. So they threw this big party, and GOV played, and Travis was using the cabs. And when we got up there, this other band was headlining, and they asked, I knew them too, and they asked if they could use the cabs, and I was like, yeah, of course. So whatever, the show goes, GOV rips, of course, as they always do. The next band gets up, they're great. But during their set, they're kind of like a black metal-y band, and they were like throwing pig's blood everywhere. And I mean, just destroyed the stage. Pig's blood was all over this cab. And so it used to have normal tan orange grill cloth just covered in pig's blood. Mm-hmm. And so it still worked. I wasn't mad about it. They didn't need to pay me anything. But when I got it back, I was like, this thing looks so cool. I need to just keep it forever. But the pig's blood eventually, like, ate through the glue on the grill cloth, and it just kept sinking in to the point that it was, like, touching the cones of the speakers. Yeah. So Travis hooked me up and bought me a new grill cloth. And I think this one's a little bit thinner than a normal orange grill cloth. So it lets a little more of the high end come out, but still sounds like a orange cab.
And it's been through a lot and has a great story behind it for sure.
It is thrashed.
All right, so yeah, we've heard the clean tone of that orange through that 412 there, and he talked about the Friedman overdrive, and I think we'll hear that now. And you got it running through like a little, I guess a little looper there, just easier to kick on and off.
Yeah, it's a Mesquite blender. I don't know who makes it, but
yeah,
it's just I have big dumb feet, and so I don't want to. If I'm gonna mess anything up, it would be I'd kick the knob on an overdrive. So I have it set up on that, and it's got this thing called a barefoot button, which is like this big. I put a big button on it, so I just kind of rest my foot on it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, listen to that. Yeah, crank Marshall.
You could hear. I just like that. You can hear like the high like open strings because we play in like open tuning or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've always I love like Clint Lowry from Seven Dust. He's one of my favorite guitar players, and he always played in like open tunings, and he would play like Mesa Mark IVs and stuff. But you could hear every big like chord he would play.
And that's what I enjoy when I go watch y'all play. It's like, yeah, it's big and loud, but it's not just all gained out loud. It's just big sounding.
You can see on the pedal too. Like I have the gain at not barely 10 o'clock.
You're right, yeah. So you're right.
And those pedals have a ton of gain. I think they actually have internal like dip switches where you can turn down the gain.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we don't run that much gain. We always say it's a good loud. Like it's loud, but it's not.
Yeah, there's a difference.
It won't kill you.
Yeah.
It might. I don't know. My mom says it's too loud.
Yeah, so out of that Friedman into the wah pedal, and you told me earlier that's a bass wah.
It is a bass wah. It was Bo's, and he just so kindly let me throw it on here. I used to use the Jerry Cantrell Dunlop. It's got like the Q control on it. If you want to play a wah, Jerry Cantrell's the guy that you want to. He's the best guitar tone of all time, best wah tone of all time. But again, I have big dumb feet and a big dumb brain, so I would never know when it was on. And so the bass wah is awesome because it's just automatically on and off.
When you push, yeah.
I think Brent from Macedon actually uses a bass wah too. That bass wah.
Yeah.
On his
I think we
rig.
had Dylan Rufford uses that same one too. Maybe.
Yeah. He uses it for bass, and it sounds incredible when he does it.
So, yeah, just your traditional crybaby bass wah. If y'all.
I don't know what we got it here. I don't know what like the model number or name is or anything. But yeah, I think it's got a couple like little controls on the side because we keep it. I don't know. Again, Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains, when he plays wah, it's not like wah wah. It's not screaming at you. It's very like it's more throaty sounding. And that's what I like.
Not Kirk Hammett.
No, he uses way too much.
Yeah. I went and watched them live, and Kirk Hammett had wah for every place on the stage that he would stand.
You should.
Yeah.
Someone made a joke one time and made these like fake Converse All-Stars that had wah pedals attached to the bottom of them that were like supposed to be for him.
All right, now out of that wah, where are we going?
To the Phase 90, just plain old
MXR Phase 90.
Phase 90. Nothing you can say. It's the best.
That's what Eddie Van Halen plays.
I have it set like Eddie Van Halen, where you like turn it off and then just barely turn it on, so it just kind of moves a little bit. Got it here again. We did a mod to it though, because I don't know if the old ones are like this. Like my uncle used to have. He's an incredible guitar player. He's in like a Van Halen clone.
Oh yeah.
So he had all the cool Van Halen stuff, but he had a script one, like a real old one. And I don't know if the old ones are like this, but the new ones, when you turn them on, they have like this volume boost in them, and I didn't really like it that much. So our drummer Kevin, who's a genius at everything, found out that it's just some little resistor in there that does it. So he just clipped it out.
Clipped it out of there,
and then you don't have to worry about
Yeah.
it.
And now the Phase 90, and then you're going to the chorus next, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to use what's the green TC chorus? The Corona.
Yeah.
Which is good. And I got it here, and then one day it just started making all this like random noise out of nowhere. So I brought it over here, and nobody could figure out what it was. So they're like, we'll just give you another chorus pedal. And that's just a used Boss Super Chorus, which is...
Yeah. You find them
it
anywhere.
does everything I need to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it breaks, I'll just go get another one.
There you go.
But it works.
Yeah. Then on from that, you go into your high-end side of your pedal board.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been through a lot of stuff over the years, and I used to use like the bigger delay pedals. I used the Flashback X4 for a while.
Oh yeah.
And they're good. They're really good. But Travis and I both are using one, and we found that like if you played a venue that was too hot, I had it set with presets too. Like, we play to a click live, so everything is tapped out to the click, and then all of a sudden you look down and it would just be going nuts. It just like erase it. So, and I had an El Capistan before and got rid of it, and then I just got another one. because they're the best. And on those big ones that I'd use, I find that I only use the tape setting on everything.
So why not just get
just get the tape delay?
Yeah. And it is truly probably the best tape delay, emulated tape delay out there.
Yeah, and I just like it. It's got like, I don't run it that crazy or anything, but it does have that like decay sound to it that like when you listen to old Van Halen records, you know, that's what he used. He used old Echoplex and stuff like that, and you just kind of hear the notes on the solo just kind of warble out, and that's my favorite sound in the world, so that's why I use that.
The El Cap into the Blue Sky, which we call it the church reverb around here.
It is. It's mainly
it's got the shimmer
for rolling your volume knob on with a Pog pedal and making it sound like an organ.
Big organ and swelling and.
I don't use it for that at all. I think Travis turned me on to these a long time ago. He used one in his old band Akoa, and we use it pretty, like, I would say almost in every song.
Yeah.
That the Blue Sky comes in. I had one, like an old version 1 Blue Sky that had the actual like click on.
Oh yeah.
And I traded it to somebody with some money and got a Big Sky with the big one, and then I was just like, why do I have this? I don't need this.
More presets than you need.
Yep. So I just went back to that, and it's the V2 with the silent switches in it. And the way we have it, I guess I could show you. The way we have it set is just like big washy, like. We leave the favorite switch to where in between songs we can just make noise and it freezes everything.
Just kind of give you a nice transition.
Yeah, but what's funny about that one, I guess it's a problem on the version 2 that wasn't on the version 1. Every time I'd turn the favorite switch off to like go into another song or something, it would make this weird beat noise. And so I emailed Strymon, and they're an amazing company because they emailed me back immediately, and we're just like, yeah, that's a problem we have. And they sent me a shipping label, and I sent it back to them, and they just fixed it for free. And sent it back to me, and it doesn't make the beep anymore.
We've had we carry Strymon here at the shop, but we've had 2 pedals, and the whole time we've been carrying them with something, maybe an issue.
Yeah, they're incredible.
But they take care of it instantly. So I back companies that have good customer service like that.
They're super. They're they're a little more expensive than your normal run-of-the-mill pedal company, but it's so worth it because you don't have to worry about anything. But that's pretty much it. I try to keep it pretty simple. There was a point that I had like a big spaceship board, and I don't know. I don't need that stuff.
No, don't need all that.
No.
That pretty much wraps up the pedal board, and I guess so. We've tried out the reverb and the overdrive. Have we heard the delay yet? I don't think we've heard the delay.
Probably not. I'm trying to think what I use it for. I'll use the delay in the chorus. There's a song we have called Careless Survivor. We put out a 7-inch a couple years ago that we recorded the drums in this room.
I remember that.
And just did 2 songs during 2020 when nobody could really do anything. We were just like, let's just put out a 7-inch. We all come from the hardcore scene, and we're all old hardcore kids, so we just wanted a 7-inch that looked like it came out on Revelation Records, and cranked a couple songs out. And this song I used, I wanted it to sound like Zakk Wylde. I wanted it chorus and distortion.
Yeah.
But we'll see if I can. I can't play like Zakk Wylde, but.
Oh yeah, you can definitely hear that saturation on
the
delay.
You can hear it. It sounds like when you kind of roll off of it, it just kind of sounds like the notes like driving a car off a cliff or something, which is what I love.
Yeah. And what would you use the Phase 90 for? Do you use that much in HAAL? Or?
Yeah, I do. I use it a lot. There's a song we put out like a self-titled full-length LP. We put out 2 of those now, but the first one in like 2016 or 2017, the last song on there is a song called Wretched Design, and I play like I guess if you like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, a lot of people don't like the record One Hot Minute that Dave Navarro played on, but it's amazing. And there's a song on there called My Friends, and he plays this like octave kind of solo. And he might use a wah pedal on it, I don't know, but I just totally ripped it off. And then I used the phaser for that. So let's see if I can do that too.
All right.
That's about it on that.
Oh, yeah.
I use it, trying to think, I use it more like in just when I want to turn it on.
Yeah.
Then we have a song called Everything Is Right Now, and like I'll turn it on at random times and that. It's just, that's kind of when I use it.
Yeah, it just gives a whole nother texture.
Yeah.
And everything else. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the rig, I guess, part of the rundown there. And again, I encourage you a whole lot to go check out HAAL. Again, they're my favorite band in Johnson City. Will might be my favorite guitar player. Also, it's just
you set the bar low.
Well, it's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I just like big guys that look like me with beards, and they rip guitars and stuff.
And everybody else in my band's tiny.
I know they're little.
We need a big guy now.
And we talk about it, man. And you've heard us mention Travis K. Meyer's name a lot. Wes mentioned him a lot. Travis is one of those guys that you try to find a flaw in, you can't, other than him being so particular. And we try to get him here for a rig rundown, but it'd probably take about 3 days to do it. I don't know.
He's the best.
He is the best.
And he'll crush it. He'll be good when he comes in here and does it too. But he's just been one of my best friends for a long time. And
super guy.
we just never, I don't know, we always ran to the same bands and stuff. And then one day we were just like sitting over at the studio messing around with something. I'm like, let's just start a band.
Yeah.
And we did. And I don't know, 8-9 years later, we're still doing it.
Still doing it.
Awesome.
So Bo Duggar in here next week. Yeah, best bass player in the world, and he uses effects very tastefully on bass.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Normally, if you see a bass player show up with like a pedal board or something,
You're like,
oh,
God. Yeah.
But he does, yeah. The way he does
most of the time
awesome.
I show up at a gig with my pedal board and everybody's like, oh. But
you do it good too, though.
And Kevin Lane, which I think he used to be the drummer for Whitechapel.
He did.
And if you ever see him out in public, he loves for you to ask him
Yeah,
that.
you should talk to him about it the whole time.
The whole time, said, man, I loved you when you was in Whitechapel.
He used to have really long hair. He played blast beats, no bass, super fast. He's incredible drummer.
He's one of the best drummers I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And he comes in here and buys a lot of cymbals and a lot of sticks because he breaks a lot of both.
He beats him up pretty bad.
Yeah, and but man, he could play some drums for sure. And HAAL is one of the tightest bands I ever heard. And
you just gotta practice.
It shows.
We practiced we wrote basically wrote a set and then did some demos and released like 2 demos.
Yeah.
That we just recorded live and then Travis mixed and they sounded really good and threw them up. And then we didn't play a show for probably a year.
Yeah.
We just sat in that studio. We're just every week we just go in there and practice. So
yeah. I mean, if you walk down Market Street here on Tuesday nights usually, and
yep.
I can tell you it's every single week, and it shows for sure. Check out Godsize, and Will's got a completely different role in that band, and just
I hate it.
Screaming you.
I don't hate it. I love playing in a band with those dudes. It's the best. But I used to tour like full time in a hardcore band that we like had a record deal and we were just touring all over the country. And I was like 22 though.
Yeah.
Now I'm 35, and we play a couple shows every few months. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And we're about to put out a new EP that Travis just recorded, and it is like 13 minutes of just fury.
Oh yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, got Joey Metcalf on drums and Jake
amazing
Morrell on
drummer,
bass.
amazing bass player. I'll just try to be in bands with my best friends. That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, and it's great when they're great musicians on top of that.
Yeah, and I think so. Travis is going. GOV's going to record with Kurt like this month.
Yeah.
To do another full length, it'll be amazing. And then when he gets back, we'll start work on another full length probably. So we got 2 full lengths now and a 7-inch little EP.
Yeah.
And it's been like 2 years since we put anything out, and we've got some songs, and we're ready to put them out.
Put them out there for sure. Again, y'all check out both those bands. Show them some love and some support. It's hard, being a local band doing original music and getting any kind of traction and getting people to show up at shows and
I feel like we go play out a lot. Like we go play out of town a lot, but and I think we do that just so we can come back here, and have a really, we don't want to play here all the time.
Don't want to burn the area out.
Sick of us, but every time we come back and play the Hideaway or Capone's or something, it's always a good show. And, and I grew up going to shows here, and it's the best.
Yep. We always ask everybody that's on the program about what they think about Dave and Campbell's Morrell music, and I know what you think about it because you shop probably all here, mainly here pretty much. And
I mean, I've been coming here. Like I said, I'm 35. I've been coming here since I was 8 years old, 7 years old. Whenever I started playing guitar, my dad bought a Martin here in 1998. I still have the receipt for it.
Yeah.
It's the best music store in the world. Dave's the best. You guys are all the best. Always getting me cool stuff and fixing my broken stuff.
Yeah. Tyler's probably done some setup work on your guitars. We talk about him every week, but anything that you see here on the program from Will's rundown, we carry almost every one of these pedals except for the Friedman maybe, but we can definitely get you, if you like the tone you hear, and we can get you close. And
I think I saw you guys have the Wampler
Pinnacle or something.
Pinnacle, yeah, which is the Eddie Van Halen pedal.
Yeah.
Which I had. They're great. He makes killer overdrives.
Oh, yeah.
They're amazing.
Oh, that's great.
But that's why I got all this stuff, so I can just, when I mess it up, I just walk all over the street, across the street and get another one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we thank y'all for joining us again and continued support on this program. We love doing these rig talks, and
they're awesome.
Will has been real insightful, and he retains a lot of knowledge. Especially, he remembers a lot of bands and what they're playing more than anybody I know.
My mom used to tell me if I spent half as much time on school as I did on all this knowledge, it's useless knowledge.
Useless knowledge, yeah.
But she was way nicer about it than that. That I would have a PhD in something. Which I probably would. I have a PhD in knowing dumb stuff about bands.
Yeah.
Because I just sit in my room and read the liner notes of everything.
We're all kind of gear geeks.
Yep.
and want to sound like our favorites all the time. So, but appreciate you showing up and showing your pedal board and your rig and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we'll just kind of work out of here with maybe him just playing another riff or two or whatever you want to play. And if you got anything else left, or